Well, good afternoon or good evening if you're in the USA. If you're in the UK or Scotland, then if you're up, good for you. You should be in bed, but anyway. And if you're in the Pacific Rim, then it's Super Saturday morning. I am Bruce, aka Mr. Simpler, Faster, Better, or the guy in the blue shirt, as people know me here in LinkedIn. And I'm so honored to reconnect with Miss Libby Day. And she is all the way from Dallas, Texas region. So go ahead, Libby, and we'll talk a little bit about how we first connected, and then you're going to do some teaching and learning and prospering and growing for us here, right?
Hey, so thanks for the introduction, Bruce.
Sure.
I'm actually from Scotland, so a little bit closer to where Bruce is from originally.
Yep.
We met, I moved to DFW about 7 years ago. Basically, yeah, because of the market. I heard the markets were really good here. I already had a creative business and have worked in marketing and things like that. So I decided, since you can fit the whole of the UK into Texas alone 2.8 times, I thought, well, this was probably a good place to hedge my bets on expanding my business.
Sure. And also the other thing is people don't realize Dallas-Fort Worth is the only top 5 US airport that's not gridlocked or landlocked, and they actually can add extra runways. And the other little miscellaneous fact with DFW is you can get anywhere on the planet in 24 hours out of DFW. So how about that?
I know, I live very close to the airport, so it's very helpful.
I know you do. All right. Hey, Gracie Ruth. Gracie Ruth has joined us. Thank you for doing that. And so, Gracie Ruth, if it's okay with you, Libby may just visit your website for a little few things, but we'll see how it goes. And also, Valerie Mackey joined as well. So thanks, Valerie. Valerie is a relatively new connection in Sherman Oaks, California. I didn't know she lived in California until I interviewed her as a live guest recently. So, you know, small world, right?
Yeah, it's a very small world. Well, yeah, I'm hopefully going to walk people through just some of the things I notice. So what basically I do for businesses is my background is design. I'm a professional designer. And I've worked in all kinds of verticals. So I call myself a multidisciplinary designer.
Right.
But what I've got really into recently is search engine optimization. So I used to work at a big agency, and you have to be certified to work with all the different clients and things like that. So I am Google certified and SEMrush certified. But I've got really deep into it as I realize, working on contracts, that there are many great looking websites out there, but they don't have SEO, or they don't have the integrations, they don't have the right funnels, marketing funnels or channels to actually convert leads from the website for the website owner.
Okay.
So I really just want to walk people through just some of the key points that, you know, I think is really important for a business owner, especially when you're starting up. You want to hit the ground running. We all know that budgets aren't always the biggest when you're starting out. So I guess trying to identify what your strengths and weaknesses are, just like any SWOT analysis in a business, you know, you really do need to these days, especially, you know, we've had COVID, we've had all of these obstacles in our way, and really, you know, creating an online business, even if you have a bricks and mortar store, you know, you still need to have that digital presence to succeed in today's market. So
you bet. So before you dive into your demo, I want to, so there's a lot of acronyms there. So SEO is search engine optimization. So could you explain to a layman like me, what does search engine optimization mean? And then if you talk about SWOT, you mean strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats analysis. So that one I do know, because I've spotted more than a few flies in my time before. So yes. So take us up to a real, you know, level us up here in terms of...
So basically, I am going to talk about some of the terminology. And actually, if you go to my website, there is a page that, there's a blog page that explains some of the jargon Because the jargon that because I realize most of the time I'm actually dealing with other digital marketers, marketing directors, and they already know, so I know sometimes it sounds like I'm speaking some foreign alien language when I start talking to people about what different things are. But basically, SEO is search engine optimization. So what it does is it's basically the address. I often say to people, if you think about your house, right? So think about if your website is your house and how you want to decorate it and how you want to make that house your home. Right. And then I often say the hosting, which is the hosting that everyone has to pay for. That is basically the electric, that's turning on the lights. That's,
sure.
The server is hosting your website. And then obviously you have your domain, which is, pretty much like your postcode, right? Your zip code. Your zip code is your domain name. And then you have this thing called SEO, which is search engine optimization. And what that is, it's basically on every single page, unique page that you have on your website, you're going to have a meta title and you're going to have a meta description. So that basically tells the search engines, the algorithms, whether it's Google, Bing, YouTube, even, obviously social media platforms are search engines as well. Right. That's basically just telling the bots, the algorithms, what that page is about. So that's real high level. I'm going to walk you through and show you how you can find that on a website, how you can check your own.
Okay.
But then the other side of SEO is, on the page itself. So much like you would construct a Word document, you're going to have headings, right?
Right.
So that's literally what it's the same thing on a web page. So you're going to have heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. And really, you want to make sure that the most important heading 1, is really, in a nutshell, what that page is about.
Okay. So, I will click over so you can demo. Gracie Ruth said that she's okay if you want to do some clicking around on her site that you already have. But before we do that, and so what is the whole goal and purpose of being found? So again, I don't want to make assumptions about, because that's always confused me. It's like, how do you get found? You get found by good messaging very often and through referrals. But so what's the purpose of being found as it relates to search engine optimization?
Well, you want to be found for the people in your area. There's going to be some locality to it as well. So if you're in Arlington, DFW, and you're looking for a foundation repair specialist and you go to Google or Alexa or anywhere that you are in that physicality of your location, as long as you don't go incognito, not show your location, basically it's going to give you the best search results for what you're looking for in that area. So you want to be found, so there's so many businesses out there, and it's all a lot of white noise, right? So you want to be coming up somewhere at least, and content's really important these days. So gone are the days in the 90s where you would see these hideous, you would need to wear sunglasses to wear websites, but they would come up number 1 in Google on the page. Right. And something to point out as well. So you can come up number 1 on the page, right, on Google, but it's a paid advertising. Sometimes you see the little ads. We call it like above the fold. There's above the fold and below the fold. So basically anything that has ad beside it, someone's paid for that advertisement. Right. But SEO is what makes you come up organically on the page. So you don't have to spend any money with Google. But you do, it is something that takes a little bit of time. It's nothing that you can do yourself as a business owner. It's just knowing where to find it and what to do.
Sure. And I'll hand it over for demo, but a little fast tip that I learned that everybody should do is Google yourself every now and then. And so what have you found the importance of Googling yourself, either by name or by company name, just as a real quick tip here for people?
To be honest, I wouldn't recommend doing it too much if you're looking for your advertisements and things like
Right.
that. But yeah, it is a good idea to Google your business, or also do some research about other businesses that are similar to what you provide. So, some of the research that I do is, I have some pretty hefty softwares, paid softwares that I use to find out lots of information. But
Sure.
you definitely want to be having a look and seeing, well, why are they coming up? Is it because they've been on the internet a long time? Do they have great content, lots of great content? Look at the reasons and, note them down. You might get some ideas,
Right. Yeah. So understand the channels and the why somebody's coming up, and maybe I'm not, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to find the guy in the blue shirt? I mean, come on.
Being unique. Yeah, being unique.
I am unique, right, for sure. Right, I'm gonna remove.
Okay, I think I'm sharing it now so everyone can see. So do you have a website for me to have a quick look at then? I don't know if I see in the chat that your friend's website is maybe around. I'm just going to use, I'm going to look up a local restaurant. Local restaurants, here we go. And I'm just going to show you, obviously, you can see that I'm located in Addison, DFW, and it's going to show me, TripAdvisor is obviously coming up, and these we call these directories. So they're getting featured. I'm trying to look for an actual restaurant here. Grubhub, that's often the case, is that you're going to find, let me just look up this one, because I know this one. And I know it has a website. Here's a website here, and it's not, here we go. Well, this is great, actually, because this is going to show us one thing that I actually got in a note. So as you can see here, the connection's not private. So that tells me that this website doesn't have HTTPS. So what that basically is, if you have a look here in the extension, it says HTTPS. So that's a relatively, in the last few years, new thing that Google has. So basically, it's a level of security. So if you see that coming up on your website, or you see that you're missing the TPPS, you better make sure that you've gone ahead and got a site certificate from whoever your domain provider is. So I'm going to look for another restaurant. I am going to go to this one since it's here, see if they have we know these people have a website. And just bear with me a second. So see, here it wants to know our location. So we'll say, okay. I've actually got it switched off because I've been doing a lot of SEO for people, but it won't stop me from what I'm doing to kind of show you. So I'm not going to talk too much about design today because, depending on your level of expertise, there are some fairly good content management systems, which is CMS, right? So that's basically a web management system. So Shopify, WordPress, any of these content management systems you can use to create your website. But I'm going to come over here because this is a little extension that I use in Chrome. You can actually get this extension for free if you go to Chrome extensions and download it, but it's SEO in one click. So I can see from this website, it looks pretty good. I think this restaurant have a few locations, but you can see here, this is the meta title. So this is this page SEO that I was discussing. Interestingly enough, the way they have done this is wrong. So they would want to have what this page is all about. A lot of people say home, services. Yeah, it's boring. It's best to actually be a little bit creative here with your page. And instead of saying home, it looks like they've got their different locations. It might be better to actually say our menu and locations. And then if you are a local business, you would want to put, here we've got Addison, Texas. They've actually, looks like they've used a template, but it should, this Addison, Texas should be in the middle, and then it should be the business name at the end. So this gets inputted into the back end of a website. I'm going to show you a website. You can see I'm actually in a client's website right now. This is a WordPress. So it's going to be the same but different every time, it depends on which CMS you are using. Obviously, with the work that I do, I'm used to using a lot of different CMSs and even custom ones. So there are ways that you can code in SEO as well as enter it into the CMS. So here, we're going to go down here. Now, WordPress normally uses Yoast. So this is a site I've been working on. We actually have to do some work here to make this title the way it should be. And this is where I enter the meta description. So, so really, that's that's the SEO. You can see the description is missing here. When I was talking about 90s websites, what used to happen was what they would do as web developers, people like me, would come in there and stick all the keywords, everything they could, even if that page content did not correspond with the keywords that they had there. So Google have done a good thing. Google are, on a mission to make the internet a more insightful, well quality, to basically give people the search results. When you talk into your phone, your device, Alexa, hey, where's the nearest dentist? Or you type into your keyboard, Google and other search engines are trying to give you the best experience. So what they did was they actually did away with people being able to add keywords just in the back end of the website. These are all back end kind of areas like I showed you. So now what happens is it's basically scanned off of all of the content that you have. So one thing I would say about this particular website is they're kind of lacking here on the content, It's important as well to understand that people don't read a lot, right? But you've got about seven seconds, they say, to really, grab someone with a website. They say 3, but people might go to a different page, might try and see what's all about. So it's really important that on your first page, you really encapsulate what it is. So for me, and again, I'm just using a restaurant. It's an easy one, right, to look at. But they don't really sort of say, bang, what's their ethos, what's their philosophy, what's unique about their food, what style of food is it? I just read Lazy Dog, and unless you're aware of the brand, you're not really sure, right? So you really want to nail exactly what it is you do. An H1 tag shouldn't be too long. You should probably think about, a sentence, a short sentence, and not a run-on sentence, and then it's perfectly good to have some kind of little description, underneath. I'm going to show you an example just to kind of show you what I mean of a philanthropy.
So I had a question, and again, I can't see the comments right now because I put it on full screen. But
sure.
So my understanding of what you just said was the meta tag or the meta description it's almost like a GPS for what you're looking for. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, GPS works, right, from kind of bouncing things off of towers. It's actually a lot more, I mean, I can kind of show you on a live. So this site's live, right? So I'm just going to do a little bit of an experiment. So I'm just going to type in here live, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to take that away, obviously. But if I update that, and then I actually go to their live site, here we go.
Right.
And I believe that page was the About page. So if I go to their About page, and I click here on my little thing here, you can see live.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay. So this, you probably want this characters. There is a maximum and minimum. So little tools like this, I actually use this all the time, a character counter when I'm doing work.
So what's the ideal, Libby, for
That's just what I was getting to. So
okay.
for the description, Google says you can do up to 320 characters, but it'll just cut off. So basically, when you go to so let's just look up energy, or just let's look up enterprise is the first thing that comes up, right? So it's going to have, that's an ad, obviously, and like I was talking about, enterprise carb. So let's look for the first, is them again, and they are the first organic hit, right? So when you look, this is actually the title of each page that we're seeing. So when you click on that title, it takes you to that web page, right? But every time, this is SEO. So I almost say to people, treat your SEO like a miniature advertisement. You know, that's really the best way to kind of go about it. I'm just going to go and fix that before I forget.
Right. They'll be not happy with you.
Don't want to leave that there. So again, we would say about 156 characters for the description to stop it getting chopped off. And I'm going to show you that updated.
Right.
To show you how, see? And then for the title, you probably want to stick to about 70 characters. So you basically, again, just to reiterate, you want to make sure that the first part is what that page is all about. And you can try and get a little bit more creative, because if loads of people just have home, you're competing with loads of people that say home, right? If you've got a very, very big business, a car wash, for instance, and they have home, Sparky's car wash, in the SEO, the way that you could compete is just think about something, best car wash, or, instead of just saying home, you could actually just call out looking for a car wash ? That's kind of servicing your voice search needs as well. Because you can put in question marks and things here. You can actually get quite creative, but 70 characters is kind of what you want to be at, no more than 70. I would say the sweet spot's probably about 60.
So do you have a kind of best in class site you can show us, a page where they've kind of done everything right? Of course. One of your products, right?
Sure, I can do. I'll choose these guys. This is a massive site. So they don't have absolutely. I'm actually still working through their blogs. But yeah, so here we go. 56 characters we have here. And what I've done with these is their biggest competitor was Grizzly Cooler. Obviously, Yeti is huge, right? But the next biggest competitor that I'm kind of competing with is Grizzly Coolers. So I noticed they were using this keyword and we weren't. So there's nuances, right? There's little nuances that you can look at, to just make it that bit better. And when you're writing the description, try and make it natural, but don't, you want to get as many keywords in there as you can, without making it weird. So yeah, these guys, this is a bit of a faux pas, the H1. I am actually not the developer on this particular project. So really, these are the headings that I spoke about. You want to make sure that there's just one of these, one of those, one of those, and then you can make as many as you want, but make sure you've got a sitemap. Another thing that I do is I use this tool called Built With. That's a very handy thing for me, because I can type in a website. We'll just use this as an example. Especially if someone comes to me. I'm often the person that people come to when people haven't done the right research. Like the person building the site, or it can't be updated, and a lot of people are like, help, I need help, so here I'm actually seeing every single piece of technology that is associated with this website. So that's often a handy thing when someone comes to me and they say they've got a problem. I'll look at to see everything they've got integrated, and then I'll come over here. I have some software here that I use. Let's just look at that same client. I can actually go in. I mean, this is paid software But I mean, if you have one website, you can definitely sign up with SEMrush for free.
Right.
And just have a look at it, your own website for free. So one that I do, let's choose a site I've built. Here we go. So one of the things I do, it's almost nigh impossible. Even my own agency website, this stuff's pretty, high level stuff here, but my site health is 95. So 10%, there's only 10% of the world's websites that score 92% and half.
Oh, okay. And
yeah.
up.
And up. So, yeah. So there's, so it's pretty high bar, that's set.
Right.
But really, if you're doing really, really good SEO, I mean, these are tools that I use. Obviously, this is quite involved, and it's going to take a while to load. But I can actually see. Oh, this is not. I'm in the wrong place. Excuse me. But I can actually see where they are for rankings.
Mm-hmm.
So at any given time, this is just within the last 7 days. I can look at. It brings in all my Google Analytics data, so I can have a look at how they're doing, like this quarter versus last quarter,
Right.
And I will go after keywords, actively go after keywords that bring the biggest ROI for them.
Right.
So,
coming back off of the complexity here, because
I'm really complex.
I'm about simpler, faster, better. So
Sure.
what are so perhaps you could show us what's the one biggest common mistake or common opportunity, or gap? So what, based on all of your time in this field, and obviously, things are more alike than they are disalike sometimes. So what do you see is maybe the quickest fix for the most common thing you come across all the time, Libby?
So the HTTPS, definitely. Right. Make sure your site is secure. Otherwise, lots of people, it just happened to me actually before I went on the call. I was looking for a local mobile cat groomer for my.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's they didn't have site security, and my browser I actually block anything that's not secure for security purposes. So
right,
Google has actually started blocking. I don't think it's complete yet, but they started blocking websites that aren't HTTPS about 4 years ago.
Okay, so if you don't have one and you need HTTPS, what's the easiest way to get that assigned?
So if you're with, for instance, GoDaddy, and that's another thing too, I obviously work with a lot of different domain providers.
Right.
So when I launch a website that I've made and I have to change the DNS, which is your domain name server, right?
Okay.
So you basically, that operation is getting access to a client's domain. And then I point that domain to the website that I've created, or a website that someone else has created. So it's kind of like you need to make sure at the domain level that you do have a site security certificate, and beware, because there are other things to be aware of too. I would be aware of any web design company or anyone trying to get all the keys to the castle for your domain. If you've purchased your domain, there are ways in GoDaddy that you can just provide a PIN number or something like that so that they can access what they need to update things, but never give away your domain. So yeah, keep that to yourself.
All right, cool.
So I'm trying to think of well, no SEO is a good thing. That's like getting all dressed up for the party and not going out,
All right, let me flip over to the comments here, if I may. Can I take the screen down a little bit? Here we go. All right, there we go. I'm learning how to use the buttons this end. So by the way, everyone, this is the first time I've done a live demo with a guest on the other end. So thank you for letting me experiment a little bit on StreamYard. certain we could do it, but we figured it out because Libby's way smarter than I am, so that's good. So let me see. Best pair. All right. So yeah, if you're if you're still on with us live, hopefully didn't lose you too much. You could, if you have a question, pop it in the comments. If you're seeing this as a replay, then put in #replay and put your question in there. And so what are the best ways if people are interested in learning more from you, Libby? Obviously, what's the first step for people to reach out to you to learn more?
You can definitely email me to learn more. We are trying to get better at putting more blogs, right? I've actually, I do find myself explaining a lot of the things, right?
Okay.
So they actually come in handy for me with clients because then I can just copy and paste or direct them to my blog for questions.
Right.
It's good to ask questions too. I think as well, I even see it with professionals in my industry. It's like, we all have different expertises, right? I work with some advertising people and their expertise is not SEO. Well, I wouldn't know the first thing about trying to organize a media buy. So, it's we all kind of have our own specialties, but it's really good to ask questions because, there's never a silly question ever,
Right.
And the thing about, web design and SEO, we're always trying to keep up with technology. Google has a habit of changing things up all the time, part of their ongoing improvements. So there is actually a couple of blogs on my website about that. We are trying hard I have so many blog titles,
Right.
different things. But yeah, we usually, which is a good problem to have, we're usually too busy to get to all the blogs we want to write. But that is another way of, as well for your business, blogging, about different topics.
Right. Well, I know Valerie 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈, who was on. I can't see if she's still on. For some reason, I'm not seeing all the comments. But Valerie 𝒂𝒂𝒑 is been doing a lot of blogging and SEO, and I invited her to listen in. And then again, if do you know Lee Thurburn with a company called Apricot Rocket?
I think so.
Okay, so Lee is actually based in the North Frisco area. So I probably need to hook you up with him. I did mention that you were being on today, and Lee also has a live stream show himself as well. So that might be
right. Yeah, I'm a bit shy. I'm one of these people who doesn't really like to do video too much.
Hey, I understand.
Yeah, it's funny because I do a lot of, like I said, we were just quickly chatting before I came on, right? And I spend a lot of time in Zoom and things like that. And it's how I conduct most of my business. But when I'm actually doing work with some other developers and things like that, a lot of the time we don't even have our cameras on, but we're sharing screen. Right.
Sure.
We're kind of working on different things. So yeah, I think as well, I think one of the questions was, what was the name of the Chrome extension? So yeah, if you type in Google Chrome extensions, and hopefully you're using Chrome, it's just called SEO in one click. Yeah.
Okay, SEO in one click. Is that what you said? All right. And what were the other quick tools you showed there?
So you can use things like word counter.
Word counter. Good.
I don't know. I can put these in the comments actually.
Yeah. Okay. You can try if
I'll try.
You may not. You may have to use another device because.
Well, I can always do a follow up with you, Bruce. If you want,
you
give me some things to put out for your email list, maybe something like that.
Well, what you can do is when it goes up into the featured section of my page, you can go in there and put #replay, and you can add as many. You can add as many comments as you want. So
it's just helpful. I mean, again, some of these tools are, if I'm not building the site, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with it. So there's some of the tools I use or look for, diagnosis kind of thing.
Sure.
But yeah, that SEO in one click is really helpful because presumably, whatever you've used to build your website, the CMS, the content management system, there's going to be an area there for SEO, and most great off-the-shelf CMSs are going to have videos on YouTube, online, and they're going to, I bet if you type in, where do I add my, there'll be a video that will show you, I'm sure.
Okay. Or the how-to, or where do I do this? There's
but there is obviously a level of expertise, and when you start getting into like, you know, some of the bigger clients, it actually becomes really competitive.
Right.
You know, one of my biggest clients, who's been with me the whole time since I set up myself again, is quite a large producer of recycled packaging, and you know, I can tell when their competitors have been working doing SEO, because it's like my keywords start to fall down, my organic, and it gets really, I have to put my gladiator kind of SEO hat on and start researching blogs to write. And another tip actually about blogs, so, and I do write about this in my blog, is try not to always just, if you have a product or whatever service that you have, try not to always just write about that service or product, right?
Right, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's like that famous line, isn't it? You know, you're trying to sell mattresses, you want to talk about a good night's sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, often the case with, you know, whatever service that you're doing, think about the places where your potential client might be. So for instance, you know, these guys buy some coolers, we write blogs for them that, you know, we talk about road trips and camping and things like that, you know.
Yeah.
And we're not always trying to plug the products, we're actually trying to get found for people searching for information.
Hey, when you want to talk about that, I can help you with IndyCar racing. That's my fan. That's my passion. So anything IndyCar, and have a TikTok channel called Simpler, Faster, Better now. So you can also go there, and so I'm sure there's a bunch of coolers that get taken to racing tracks now that they're allowing people to go watch the racing in person again.
Absolutely. It's so nice being able to do things in person again.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's really, you know, and again, uniqueness, you know, I mean, you could be, you're into your IndyCar racing and you've kind of linked that to, you know, simple process cleanup, faster, better, right? You know, it's kind of, it's good to have, you know, a little bit of uniqueness to add to what you do. Definitely.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you can always take a look at processcleanup.com, because it was not built with any.
He's going to be like, no.
No. You can do it offline. You can take it apart. I don't mind. So it is built on WordPress. It's on top of the apricot rocket system.
Am I still sharing
all of the tools? No. Hang on. That's right.
I feel terrible, Bruce. I don't know. Okay, let's have a look at Bruce's website. Okay, so I'm going to.
Pretty. Look at that.
So I'm gonna. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm on a wide screen as well. This screen is like double the size of a normal screen. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this, what we would call a call to action. Generally, I would say as well, Google has some new updates. So the trend was people were putting a lot of video at the top recently. I myself included have done a lot of that with design, but they're kind of not happy about, you know, galleries where there's too many images, too much stuff happening when people first go to the website. So that is kind of what we call above the fold. You know, you've got to scroll down to the rest of the website. I would probably move this up, you know, make it bolder, have the writing across here, just from a design point of view. And basically, when you're doing a website, think about like how someone's reading a book, you know, well, right to left or left to right, depending which country you're in, right? You know, think about as well, instead of getting, you know, these links up here, maybe, you know, you're trying to guide people down the page. So you want to kind of make it flowing on the eye. So what we call in design terms is like looking at your kind of user experience, you know, and thinking about your marketing funnels. These are called calls to actions, where you've got links, book a call with Bruce, you know. Just think about, you know, the flow of the website as well, you know. I mean, it's good to have all this information here, you know, but maybe kind of break it out into different pages. The more pages you have, which are just unique about one thing, the better success you're going to have in search. So
okay, cool.
Let's look at your SEO.
Oh, goodness.
Well, at least you've got SEO.
Okay, good.
I tell you how many times I come across a great site and and there's no SEO, but yeah, just we would want to see green, so we'd want to fix that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So I didn't know we were going to do that, and thank you for at least the opportunity to look at that. I'm going to take that off, and then. All right. So what are the best ways for people to get you, other than how active are you on LinkedIn?
I'm trying to be better on LinkedIn. So one of the services that I do provide for the companies where I'm their fractional CMO is that I manage a profile for myself on their businesses too. So
Okay.
I actually do spend a lot of time in LinkedIn, but it's not always on my own profile. But
Okay.
yeah, you can always reach me there. It's just Bruce is connected with me. If you're connected with Bruce, I'm sure you can find me.
Yeah.
But that's me in my glasses, looking a little bit more.
I stopped sharing. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, no
Here we
problem.
go. No, that's all right. I brought it back up.
Oh, you did. I'm so used to sharing my screen. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. So yeah. So anyway, so let's. So a great way to finish this up, and I wanted to remind people that it's all about relationships and networking. So we met 7 years ago?
Yeah, 7 years ago.
Right, 7 years ago, when we met actually at an old-fashioned meetup group, right?
Oh yeah.
We were in a meetup group for expats, as they call it. So a bunch of Brits in USA, and we were all newbies, and we were all learning. And so fast forward, a few months ago, we reconnected, and here we are, collaborating, and probably going to collaborate some more, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
this is good practice for me because I do, like I said, I spend a lot of time on video, but not really in front of a live audience. So
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 7 years on, the relationship is still strong, and we picked up just exactly where we left off. And so those of you that are watching this, maybe not for the technical content, but thinking about, is networking and being collaborative and building a community important? And sometimes, some days it may not think it feels like it's important. It is absolutely mission critical.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge networker. I'm lucky that I have lived in New York for a while, so I have a network of friends and professionals there. And also in the UK, London and Scotland, and then now here in DFW. And of course, people move on, and I find that as well in the digital landscape.
Absolutely.
I worked at a huge agency. A lot of those people go on to work at different companies, and I don't bite. I'm pretty friendly, and I'm a hard worker. So
incredible, absolutely incredible work ethic, incredible values, and fun connection. So thank you for reconnecting, and to be continued. And thank you everyone for listening live. And again, apologize, I am only seeing a small amount of the comments. The joys of live streaming. I don't know why. So hang on a minute, Libby. Thanks. And again, if you're watching this as a replay, if you put in #replay, you can put a question, or you can put a comment, or you can go boo-hoo. We don't mind anyway. So
I'll keep my eye out, and if there, please do reach out if there's any questions that you have that we didn't answer. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Absolutely. It's all in the questions. All right. Take care, everybody. Hang on a minute, Libby.
All right.
Good night.